It's beginning to look a lot like a tarot advent calendar. Cards it every day. And a stuffy nose. The two cards that came out today were what to let go of, the Emperor, and what to lean into, the Eight of Pentacles. And what's funny is, in a way, they're kind of a contradiction because the Emperor is all about structure and rules and authority and kind of like hard work. So that's what we're supposed to be letting go of today. And what we're supposed to be leaning into, though, is also the Eight of Pentacles is about hard work, craftsmanship, putting in the reps so that you can become good and perfect your skills. So how can we have both together? And that's what I love about tarot is actually sometimes some of the best messages come from when cards seem like they're a contradiction, but it gives you a much subtler message that's much more important. So how can we do both? To me, the interesting thing is that this skill we're trying to lean into and practice and become perfect at, what is it? That could be so many things. It could be our work. It could also be our spiritual practices. It could be things like we're trying to work on our intuition, or we're trying to become better at meditating or doing more yoga or being more in the present. But I don't know about you, but I know that sometimes when I'm working on these skills and trying to own them and perfect them, I can actually get so rigid and sometimes be a little bit like too rigid, have too many things on my list of things to do. And they almost start just being another list, another thing, another item on my list of things to do. And it starts stressing me out. And it doesn't feel like a spiritual practice anymore. It just feels like another thing I have to do. And I know for myself, for example, these days with meditation, I can really be too strict sometimes, and I want to do this and I need to do it in this certain way. But I realize actually that sometimes when I do that, it is so counterproductive, because the reason I'm trying to meditate is I want to get more in a flow state. I want to get more into peace and calm and just being in the present and wanting to do that on my own. And so when I impose it on myself, it's almost like I'm not getting the benefits. And so sometimes the best meditations I've ever had are when I've told myself that day, I don't need to meditate. Somehow something kind of like lifts, and then I want to meditate, because all these practices, all these things that we are trying to perfect and get to are things that we know are good for ourselves. Eating healthily, going for walks, journaling, meditating, doing yoga. The list goes on. You can name your own. But the thing is, sometimes if you can actually do it in a more gentle and compassionate way, not so harsh, you'll actually get better benefits. So today, I think the message of these two cards is try to find that really subtle line. It's like a razor sharp line, and it's really subtle, but it's about owning your craft. And yes, we need to sometimes do things that are not always what we really want to do, because some of these practices do take that kind of like harsh, like getting into a rhythm and a schedule. But also sometimes at one point you also have to find that balance, and then find